So it occurred to me probably 2.5 years ago, after receiving comments like, I don't have this type of conversation with everyone. Or, you know, Fox, I connect with you different than I connect with other people. So to take you back a little bit, I used to be that type of person where everything was done behind a computer. Business computer systems in college, online girlfriends, an entire virtual world. I thought that's all there was. I was shy. Actually, I'm still shy. But the challenge is, it was easier to connect to people online than it was to connect to people in a setting like this. However, over time, I realized that my shyness was getting in the way of actually experiencing true connection with others. And it got to the point where I knew there was something missing, but I couldn't put my hand on it. I'd try the online thing, it wasn't working. I'd have casual conversations with others. I'd always be distracted though. So on that note, before I get too far into it, how many of you feel like you've connected with someone over the past week? You can raise your hands. Okay. That's great, that's great. We gotta talk later. So then, again, how many of you feel like you've walked away from a conversation in the past year feeling like you've truly connected with someone? Where you've been on that level? Okay, I'd say that's a bit rare because in the next slide, we're gonna see my concept of where we are today. Most of the time, we're having distracted conversations, which we may be getting into about half aware, eventually connected or in touch, or where I like to live, which is authenticity. Now, this is distracted. You're out to dinner, you're on your phone, you're at work, you're checking your computer. If this was your idea of having a connected conversation, you're out of luck. It's not connected. You're not actually in that moment with that person. You're there, but you're distracted. This is the next type, where you're half aware. Now again, you're in the car, you know something's going on, you're at that point with that person. Maybe it's like you're sitting back in college and zoning out in class. You're only half aware. And again, you're not really connecting. Now when you sit down to dinner, you're gonna have some type of in-touch moment. That situation where you're feeling like you're engaged with the person, you're really enjoying them, but you may not be authentic yet. And authentic takes it to the highest level. You are truly there. You're using the skills Greg highlighted earlier about active listening. You're in that moment. You feel like there's nothing going on. For example, if a parade of elephants were to run through the room, you'd still be connected with that person. It's almost like you're in that room with a doctor and they're telling you something serious, so you're there. There's nothing else going on. And that's one of the key things, it's active listening. It's having that amount of attention paid to you that nothing else matters. It continues with making yourself interesting. And a few of the speakers have hit on that tonight. What is something that you've done lately that is a topic that you can be willing to speak to other people about? Because I'll disagree a little bit with the earlier speaker. It's not all about listening. Now, continuing on with that, there's that other level that you can get to where you're continuing to be interesting, you're adding in active listening, and you're just having a great time with people. And I think that's where the connection comes in. The last piece is touch. Now, how many of you have touched a coworker in an appropriate way? Or been in a conversation with a friend and touch has been part of it? It's missing. We don't do it anymore. In our society, we've gotten away from that immediate contact. So looking at the chart behind me, I challenge you. Where are you on this? Are you distracted? Are you half aware? Or are you moving towards being in touch and being authentic? So try to be authentic with someone before you leave today. Turn to your neighbor, let them know something completely random about you, and be vulnerable. Once you're vulnerable, the whole world opens up, and you can get so much further. And my hope is that this will spread. Once you become authentic in your conversations, it can go on, and it will spread like wildfire. You'll want to have more authentic conversations. You'll feed on it, and it'll just be something that'll get us away from looking at our phone all the time, being constantly distracted. So something I pride myself on, would you want to have a beer with yourself? It goes back to being interesting, it goes back to being an active listener, and it brings you one step closer to authenticity. So hopefully a few of you, you'll want to have a beer with each other, and if you want to find out more, I'm at the Fox Speaks.